Welcome to 180, the talk show that features some of the greatest conversion stories of our time. Stories of men and women who are on the highway to hell when they had an encounter on a Damascus Road experience that completely changed their life around. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, and today I'm broadcasting live from Christian Life Ranch in New River, Arizona, one of the most comprehensive Christian faith-based solutions to life-controlling problems. And for more information on the Christian Life Ranch and their value-based menu of support services, weekly meetings, and all the special events these guys are into, hop out to their website at tcaz.org. That's tcaz.org. And if you want to write me at the show, I love your emails, especially your Bible verses. Man, they almost always are timely, for me at least. Steve at 180uturn.com. That's Steve at 180turn. I'm sorry, 180YOUTURN. I used to say YouTube, so there you go. .com. Well, we're in our second day with Michael Leeders, who's having this first episode. If you haven't seen it, you need to go back out to the website and watch that first episode, because I don't get too many child abuse issues from babysitters and female relatives on young boys, and I'm just shocked that this is going on the second generation of us baby boomers who have introduced all this perversion and promiscuity into our culture, and who knows what the third generation is going to be like. I mean, I'm freaking out. Right. What are these grandkids going to be? So welcome to the show, and I wanted to pick up on one part. Your mom, once the family kind of blew up and they found out what was going on with your aunt abusing you, you were about 12 or 13 when your mom left, and they moved here to Arizona.
Yeah.
What happened? What was that all about?
Well, she had pretty much had enough of my dad at the time. He was, still abusing alcohol, drugs. He was verbally abusive
to her.
Yeah, he's never physically abusive, but definitely
verbally.
Yeah, and it was pretty tough.
Said bad things.
Horrible things.
Horrible things. In front of your kids. In front of the kids.
Yeah, in front of us. And
and I just,
in front of anybody.
If you got a problem with verbal abuse with your spouse or your girlfriend or your mother or whatever else, I ask you, I plead with you to rein it in front of kids. I mean, I don't want you to do it at all, but how can you have any kind of sense of being a man and unloading this stuff on these women in your life in front of children? I find it so objectionable, right?
Yeah.
And it should be. So you're in Arizona. This isn't Cleveland anymore. This is AZ.
Well, they're in Arizona. I'm still in Ohio.
Oh, you still? Okay.
I stayed back with my dad till I was about finished the 8th grade.
Okay, so then you came out?
Yeah, they kind of forced me out. I got expelled from the 8th grade.
Okay, and we got expelled because?
I was on suspension for fighting, and then I called in a bomb threat to junior high school. Yeah.
Okay. Not a small thing.
No, it turned into an ordeal. And we went down there to watch it, bomb squad shows up, fire departments, all the dogs.
And they tracked it all down to you?
Yeah, well, the people that were at my house, one of them was in high school and he'd been bragging about it, so they called me into the office when I came back from suspension, and they're like, hey, you're clear out your locker and go home. And I'm like, for what? And they're like, well, dude at Brush High School is talking about this, and we know the call came from your house. Whether you did it or not, doesn't matter. Call came from your house. I'm like, okay. So I went home, and they get a hold of your dad, and that was probably the worst fear. I was like, gosh, I know Dad's going to come home, and that was the first time I understood what it was like to get beat like a man. And
this is a major fear of God moment.
I don't know if it was fear of God. It's just I knew what it was like to get hit by a man.
Wow. And he hit you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I would argue there was maybe a little objectionable fault there on my, but I don't know if
that
punching
is the consequence.
So, but it happened, and they went through the school district. School district finally came up with a judgment of okay. My dad told them, hey, we'll send him out to Arizona.
Right.
Can we just get him out of here? Get him out of your hair. Mom was like, yeah, it's obviously not working out anyways. It was the idea. My mom, when my mom left and took my sister, it was the idea is to separate. I don't know. They ended up getting back together, but to let her raise the girls, to let my dad raise me. But my dad was not healthy at that time. So
now, you graduated out here then, right?
Yeah, I
High
graduated.
school.
Yes.
So you got through it somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, did you graduate from high school immediately and then go into the Army right away?
There's like a year in between.
So you're working, figuring out what you
went
want
to junior college and stuff, trying to.
What was the inspiration to join the Army?
My dad was a Marine, so.
And he was okay with you going to the Army?
Well,
that's a whole. I'm sure
he didn't want me to go at all. Actually, he thought I should have finished college instead of going through the Army, but that's what I chose to do.
No, it says you were a combat medic.
Yeah.
So blood doesn't bother you? None of that stuff?
No. You get all the training and stuff.
Sure.
And so, but it was really good training. I remember leaving though the military and having so bent, especially when I came home, because you want to go out and get a job in the field. I thought you could walk into like an LPN job or something like that. I've been qualified to do a lot of things with the training in the military. And they're like, yeah, you can go back to school and start from square one, be a CNA and change bedpans and all that stuff. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. There's no way. Hold on. I just came from all this stuff, learning different ways to help people. And you're going to make me go back to square one. And so that's all pride. Obviously, it's all pride.
And during this time, you're still drinking like a fish.
Oh, that's all the Army was. Was another idea of drinking and womanizing. I mean, most of the time spent in Germany was in the red light district.
Right.
Drinking.
In your opinion, I'm just thinking of a young mind. Okay, yeah, I'm hanging with hookers in Germany who speak pretty good English actually.
Yeah, they do.
And hey, STDs ever crossed your mind?
Oh, they're pretty prevalent on protection and stuff, and it's really weird. A lot of them have their like weekly checkups on the wall. So you knew they were clean coming into it.
Well, I would say you knew it.
Yeah, I knew it better. Yeah, so
I mean, as a medic,
that was worth an extra $10. You know?
Wow. So and I know that at the time when we talk about these things, I hope you don't take it off like we're jovial about it or anything like this. This is just the way things are. So I'm looking at the possibility of how are we going to get past these kind of things, right?
Right.
So, and my thing is, it's hard to get past it because we think this is regular life.
Yeah.
This is just plain old regular life. Normal.
Yes.
It's normal. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, then I'm thinking you're using this word about somebody else, And I'm thinking about you just told me, you like to punch people out, you're in the red light district with hookers, you're drinking like a fish, and you met you met a woman who you say is toxic. That's what, I was like, oh my gosh,
There's you come home from the Army and there wasn't those options, so I went into personal training, working at a gym, made really good money doing that. I met my daughter's mother. We hired her at the gym, and she was, that girl, she's like that one moment in life with a girl, and God, everybody was like, dude, no. Stay away from that girl. All our friends were even like, stay away from that girl. I had people say, she doesn't deserve you type of girl. And I'm like, I don't know, she's so beautiful. She was just like my type. My mom hated it. She was Puerto Rican. My mom was really kind of bent on me not dating outside my race. Not that she was racist, but she was just like, hey, you're white, find a white girl. So...
although maybe she was racist.
Probably. Kids change that real quick.
Now, this next part I want to be as forthright as I can, but also as gentle as I can. I'm trying to understand this thing about this, how your mom was killed in this, basically at this driving accident.
Yeah.
That your father was involved in.
Yeah, he was driving.
Yeah. Well, he was driving.
Yeah.
She was the passenger.
Yeah.
Okay, talk a little bit about that.
It was in like February 2010, and I was at my Nana's house doing some yard work for her, and we got a call. My dad had driven to the store and took my mom with him. They would do that, and I believe he was already drunk that day.
And this is after they'd been reunited.
Yeah, they'd been back together since high school. When he moved me out, he came out like 2 years later, and when I was a sophomore. So but the verbal abuse, all that stuff was still going on. The drinking was still going on. And smoking of, I think we were smoking pot all the time and stuff, but, he drove, and I don't know what happened, but the car flipped. My mom was ejected from the car. She pretty much, she broke her neck. She didn't die immediately. My dad broke his back. They life flighted him out to, I don't know, I can't remember what hospital it was. And we got the call to go to the hospital, and you run into the hospital and see the room my mom's in, and I saw my mom, and I was just like, I knew there's nothing I could do for her. I saw her, and I saw the,
because of your medical background.
Yeah, I saw the lump in her neck and the swelling and everything, and I was like, but I went over there, I could hear my dad yelling, and so.
Yelling to you or
whatever.
Whatever.
He was just screaming, he was pissed.
I totally get that.
And so I went to him, I went to my dad, and I remember in that moment, I forgave my dad.
How? You just did.
I don't know how. I'd love to learn how I did that in that moment, because there's never been a moment where ever since that I've ever said anything about it to him, just other than I love you and I'm sorry you had to go through that.
That's pretty magnanimous of you. Wow. Well, okay, so one of the tragedies of this, though, even though you were so benevolent to your dad, right? That's good.
Yeah.
But after this event, you are done with God. I mean, that's a major. This is a major milestone in your life.
Yeah, there was, they had my mama. She was in a coma. She hadn't wake up. We're all arguing over what to do. I'm like, Mom didn't want this. Mom wants to not be on what's going on over here. And so we're all arguing, me and my sisters. And I remember I went home and they gave us a call saying my mom had woke up. And she was tubed and everything, so she couldn't talk or anything. She wouldn't have been able to anyways because they were draining fluid from her lungs. So that all I could get was the blinking response from her. Yes and no questions. Blink once for yes, twice for no. And the doctors asked her, "What do you want to do?" And she basically said, "You could let me go." So, which is really cool because even in that moment, God had taken that off our plates. We're all arguing about this thing about what to do with her.
And do you think she was ready to go?
Yeah.
Whatever she knew about the Lord.
Yeah, mom was saved. Mom was good. So, and she didn't want. That wasn't how she wanted to spend. It was going to come down. Moms are weird. Women are crazy, weird sometimes, and I apologize about that. She had held the secret that she had lung cancer for the past 3 years.
Oh my gosh!
Nobody knew. The doctors had told us she's end-stage lung cancer. She's not. Even if this didn't happen, she wasn't going to make it throughout the year.
So she knew that too.
She knew that too.
All right. So she squared her account with God, and her leaving wasn't a big deal. She'd already probably processed it.
She knew. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So, but I'm bothered by you're done with God.
So So going to that moment. So the minute when she's gone, I walked outside and I was crying and it was raining and I just remember looking up at God and I said, "Hey, we're done."
Right.
And I felt like the weirdest moment of my life where I felt myself separate, and
you experienced it.
I felt a separation there, and I walked away from it.
I totally get it. I was 15 and I took my holy bottle of holy water, catechism, my scapula, my rosary, and dumped it in the trash can when my dad walked out at 4:30 in the morning. That was it.
Yeah.
Whatever I knew about God is done.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue with Michael Leeders' story. It's a huge story. If this is speaking to you, again, remember, you can contact me direct through my email. You can hop on their site, tcaz.org. Talk to these people. If you're local, maybe talk to Michael direct. Maybe you
Love
can
to hear from you.
Have a good conversation with him. So I just exhort you to please don't walk in your horror any longer. Square this out and get somebody that's been around this and done this and already ahead of you in the game. And if you need more information, of course, about our facilities that we're going to hear out here at the ranch, Christian Life Ranch, just hop out to the website at tcaz.org for all their value-based support services, weekly meetings, and special events. So until next time, I'm Steve Savan, and remember, no one's outside the reach of God. No, not one.